So this is an excerpt from the book White Wolf, written by David Gemmell. It is the scene where Skilganon, otherwise known as Brother Lenton, talks and exercises with Naslyn, a former Immortal of King Gorbens' army. Now, White Wolf was the first ever David Gemmell book I ever read, and introduced me to one of my favourite characters in the David Gemmell world, Druss, the legend. I hope that you enjoy this excerpt from the Story Zone. Skilganon made his way to the high battlements and felt a moment of irritation when he saw that he was not alone. Brother Naslyn was already there, leaning on the crenoled wall. He was a big man, wide-shouldered and powerful. Turning, he saw Skilganon and nodded a greeting. "A fine night, Brother Lenton," he said. "What brings you to the old tower?" asked Skilganon. "I wanted to think." "Then I shall leave you to your thoughts." Skilganon turned away. "No, do not leave, brother. I was hoping you would come. I've seen you here exercising. I know some of the moves. We've practiced them in the Immortals." Skilganon looked at the man. It was not hard to imagine him in the black and silver armour of the Emperor's elite regiment. Invincible in battle, they had carried Gorbens to victory after victory for decades. They'd been disbanded after the defeat at Sklein. "Were you there?" asked Skilganon. Such was the awesome reputation of that dreadful battle and its aftermath that the question could have referred to nothing else. I was there," he shook his head. "The world ended," he said at last. Naslyn was a quiet, solitary man. He needed to talk now, but only in his own time. Skilganon began to stretch, easing the muscles of his shoulders and back. Naslyn joined him, and together they quietly moved through the familiar routines of the shooting bow, the lotus, the peacock, and the crow. It had been some time since Naslyn last practiced the moves, and it took him a while to rediscover his balance. Then they faced one another, bowed, and began to shadow fight. Spinning and leaping, hands and feet lancing out, the blows landing on target areas lightly. Skilganon was faster than the heavier man, but Naslyn moved well for a while, until fatigue overtook him. At the last, he stepped back and bowed once more. Sweat covered his face and dripped from his short black beard. They stretched once more, then sat quietly on the battlements. "I still dream of it," said Naslyn after a while. "It was one of those impossible moments where, when you replay it in your mind, you were convinced the outcome will be different." He turned towards Skilganon. "We couldn't lose, Lenton. We were the best. Not only that, but we outnumbered the enemy 10, perhaps 20 to 1. There was no way they could stand against us. No way. The Drenai are fine warriors, they say." "Aye, they are," snapped Naslyn. "But that's not why they won. 3 men were responsible for our downfall that day, and the odds against what happened are so enormous they are incalculable. The first was Gorbens. Bless him. I love that man, even though the madness was on him at the end. We had taken losses in the eastern battles, and he promoted fresh recruits to our ranks. One of these was a young soldier named Eurycetes. May his soul be cursed to wonderful eternity. The coward. He fell silent and stared out at the silhouetted mountains. Who was the third? Asked Skilganon, though he knew the answer. The Silver Slayer, Druss. They call him Druss the Legend now. Man, but he earned it that day. We struck their line like the hammer of heaven. It buckled and damn near broke, and then just as victory was in our grasp. Naslyn shook his head in remembered disbelief. Druss charged. One man, Lantern. One man with an axe. It was a pivotal moment. He was unstoppable. The axe blade clove into our ranks and men fell. He couldn't have stood for long. No man could. But then the coward Eurycetes threw down his shield and ran. Around him, other new recruits panicked and did the same. Within a dozen heartbeats, the line broke, and we were all retreating. Unbelievable. We were the Immortals, Lantern. We didn't run. The shame of it burns like fire in my heart. Skilganon was intrigued. Tales of Druss the Legend had abounded in Naslyn ever since the death of the champion Mishanek. What was he like? Is he a giant? No taller than me, said Naslyn, but more heavily built. It wasn't his size, though. It was the sheer power he radiated. Him and that damned axe. They say he fought alongside the Immortals years ago, said Skilganon. Before my time, but there were some who remembered him. They told incredible tales of his skill. I didn't believe them then. I do now. The retreat was awful. Gorbens went totally mad and demanded his generals kill themselves for the dishonor. Instead, they killed him. Ventria was finished. And look at us now, tearing ourselves apart. Why did you become a priest? I was sick of it all. Slaughter and the battles. Naslyn laughed grimly. I thought I could put right the evils of my youth. Perhaps you can. I might have. But I didn't survive Sklein to be slaughtered by angry peasants. They'll be coming, you know, with clubs and scythes and knives. I know what I'd do. I'd fight by heaven. I don't want that. So what do you do? I'm thinking of leaving. I wanted to talk to you first. Why me? Why not the abbot? You don't talk much, Lantern, but I know a warrior when I see one. You've been in battles. I'll wager you were an officer, and a good one. So I thought I'd get your advice. I have none to give, my friend. I am still undecided. You're thinking of staying, then? Skilganon shrugged. Maybe. I truly do not know. When I came here, I gave my swords to the abbot to dispose of. I had no wish to be a fighter any more. In the town yesterday, I wanted to kill a loudmouth braggart who struck Bragain. It took all of my control to hold back. Had my swords been close to hand, I would have left his head on the cobbles. We are not such good priests, are we? Offered Naslyn with a smile. The abbot is. Many of the others are. I do not want to see them slaughtered. Is that why you're thinking of staying, so that you can defend them? It is in my mind. Then I will stay too, said Naslyn.